Okay, so, everyone's always asking about nutrition these days. Seems like it's a pretty popular topic.
Yeah, it seems like it is. And, you sent me your notes, and I took a look.
The nutrition notes.
Yeah, and we really want to make this, this deep dive the most efficient way for people to really grasp this stuff.
Yeah, and I think we can do that because these nutrition notes are a great starting point. So,
Wow.
the listener is interested in like the core concepts, right? Not necessarily all the tiny little details,
Right.
just the big picture stuff so they can really understand like the building blocks
Right.
of how their body is fueled and why these things matter.
Exactly.
So we should probably just jump right in.
Let's do it.
So the notes begin with essential nutrients, and I think that's a great place to start. So what makes a nutrient essential?
Well, essential nutrients are basically the nutrients that your body needs but can't make on its own, so you have to get them through your diet.
Okay.
So that's like proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and water.
Those are the big ones, the foundational six.
The foundational six, yeah, exactly.
And, once we consume these things, our body has to process them
Right,
through that process that we call digestion.
right.
And that's basically like our body breaking down these foods in our gastrointestinal tract
Right,
into like smaller molecules that we can actually use.
exactly. It can then be absorbed into your bloodstream. And that's how you get the nutrients to every cell in your body.
And it's how we extract the energy, right?
Exactly.
So when we talk about the energy we get from food, we often hear about kilocalories, which, people just call calories, right?
Right.
So can you just quickly explain what a kilocalorie is?
Yeah, so a kilocalorie is basically the unit that we use to measure the energy in food. It's technically 1,000 calories,
Yeah.
but you'll usually see it just written as calorie with a capital C on food labels.
Okay.
So like a 100-calorie snack, it actually has 100 kilocalories.
Got it. So that big C calorie is what we see most of the time. All right, so let's move on to protein. It's like we hear so much about protein all the time.
It is. It's a very popular topic these days.
Yeah. So what are the key things we need to know about protein?
So protein is an essential nutrient that's made up of these building blocks called amino acids. They're like little chains of atoms.
Okay.
And these amino acids, they're linked together to form these bigger protein molecules. And they're really important for building and repairing tissues in your body, like your muscles, your skin, your hair, your nails. It also helps produce enzymes and hormones and transports nutrients and oxygen throughout your body.
Wow. So many important functions.
Huge range of functions, yeah.
And I always hear about complete proteins versus incomplete proteins.
Right.
So what is the practical difference there?
So that basically comes down to the amino acid profile of the protein. A complete protein is a protein that contains all 9 of what we call essential amino acids.
Okay.
These are amino acids that your body can't make on its own, so you have to get them through your diet. Complete proteins are typically found in animal products like meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and dairy. Incomplete proteins, on the other hand, they don't have all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient quantities. And those are mostly found in plant sources like beans, lentils, and nuts. But that doesn't mean you can't get all the protein you need from plant-based sources. It just means you have to combine different sources throughout the day.
So like mixing beans and rice, for example.
Yeah, beans and rice are a great example of that.
Okay.
And legumes are also a great source of fiber, which can help with digestion.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So fats often get a bad rap, right?
Yeah, they have a bad reputation.
But we know there are different types of fats.
Yeah, definitely.
So can you break down the different types for us?
Sure. So we have saturated fats, which are generally solid at room temperature, and they are typically found in animal products like meat and dairy products.
Mm.
They have no double bonds between their carbon atoms, which makes them more tightly packed and solid.
Okay.
Then we have monounsaturated fats. Those are usually liquid at room temperature, like olive oil or avocado oil.
Uh-huh.
And they have one double bond in their carbon chain, which makes them more fluid.
Okay. And then there's this process called hydrogenation that I always hear about, It sounds like it transforms fats.
It does. Hydrogenation is a process where they add hydrogen atoms to unsaturated fats. It makes them more solid, and it helps them stay fresh longer on the shelf.
Yeah.
But it can also create trans fatty acids, which are kind of like an unnatural form of fat.
Okay.
And they have a different shape than natural fats, and that can affect how they behave in your body.
And cholesterol fits into this picture somewhere, right?
Yeah, cholesterol is a waxy substance that's actually essential for your body to function.
Mm-hmm.
But high levels of cholesterol, especially the LDL, low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, can lead to heart disease because it can build up in your arteries.
Okay.
The HDL cholesterol, on the other hand, actually helps to remove cholesterol from your arteries. So it's kind of like a
Right.
protective cholesterol.
Right.
And then there's omega-3 fatty acids. Those are polyunsaturated fats, and they're really beneficial for your heart health.
Where do we find those?
They're found in fatty fish, like salmon and tuna. They're called omega-3s because their last double bond is on the third carbon atom from the end of the molecule. It's a little chemistry detail there.
So that's a lot to unpack about fats.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
All right. So carbohydrates. We know they're a source of energy.
Yeah, they're the body's primary source of energy.
So what else do we need to know about them?
So they're made up of these sugar molecules that are linked together. There are different types of carbohydrates, including sugars, starches, and fiber. The sugars are the simplest form. They're quickly digested. Then you have starches, which are made up of many sugar molecules linked together.
Mhm.
And then there's fiber, which is actually a type of carbohydrate that your body can't digest.
Right, right.
But it's still really important for your digestive health, and it helps regulate your blood sugar levels.
Okay. And then there's whole grains, right?
Right.
Which we always hear are better for us than refined grains.
Yeah, whole grains are the entire grain kernel. They have the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. Refined grains have had the bran and the germ removed, which takes away a lot of the fiber and nutrients.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely go for whole grains when you can.
So this has been really great. We went through the 6 essential nutrients. We talked about how our bodies process them and how we measure food energy.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
And we took a closer look at proteins, fats, and carbohydrates.
Absolutely.
So understanding all these aspects of nutrition is so important for making good choices, right?
Yeah, it really gives you the power to choose foods that make you feel your best. It's not about some restrictive diet.
Right.
It's just about understanding how these different nutrients work together to support your health.
Exactly. So given everything we've talked about, different types of fats and complete versus incomplete proteins, like what's one thing that people can reflect on about their own current eating habits? Just something to think about.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe take a look at the balance of different fats in your diet. Are you getting enough of those healthy omega-3s? Are you choosing more whole grains over refined grains?
Yeah,
Just a little something to think about.
I like that. Well, thanks for this amazing deep dive into the essentials of nutrition. I think everybody learned a lot today.
Thanks for having me. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was a good one.